The Last Ronin, the man without a lord, the echo of solitude. In early 17th century Japan, the land still reeked of gunpowder and blood. Clans had been destroyed, castles burned, and lords fell one after another. But it wasn't just the lords who disappeared. With them, the fates of their samurai also disappeared. Many of these warriors, with no one left to serve, became outcasts. They were called ronin, men without a lord, warriors without a ground. And among all the ronin who wandered in this dark time, there was one whose legend spanned generations. The Lost Name. It is said that this ronin had served a proud lord who fell in battle for a forgotten cause. His clan was crushed, his banners burned, and his family scattered. The samurai survived, but lost everything. His true name was buried alongside his lord. From then on, he was known only as the Last Ronin, a man with no loyalty to offer, no land to call home, but with his sword still sharp and his heart hardened by the weight of survival. The Endless Road. The last Ronin walked the dirt roads of feudal Japan. During the day, he saw villagers bow their heads, not out of respect, but out of fear. A Ronin was seen as unstable, dangerous, someone capable of selling their blade to the highest bidder. At night, he slept beneath trees, his sword resting on his lap, his ears straining for the slightest sound. His life was a constant state of vigil, a battle that never ended. For in the silence of the night, the greatest enemy was his own memory. The fame of the lordless. In that era, many ronin became mercenaries, bandits, or hired guards. Some founded sword schools, trying to keep their honor alive amid disgrace. Others lost themselves to drink, dragging out a short and bitter life. The last ronin, however, chose neither of these paths. His silence kept him distant, his discipline set him apart from the rest. But there was one thing no one could deny. Wherever he went, his presence left its mark. A man without a master could still carry the weight of honor, even when the world no longer recognized it. The meeting in the village. One day, Ronin arrived at a small village hidden among the mountains. There he found peasants terrorized by bandits plundering their crops. There was no one to defend them. The distant feudal lords viewed the village as forgotten dust. The last Ronin was greeted with suspicion, for to them, a masterless samurai was as dangerous as the marauders. But that night, when the bandits returned, the Ronin stood before the gate, not for money, not for glory, but for an ancient instinct to protect the defenseless. The Silent Sword. The confrontation was swift, as blade fights often were. The Ronin needed no words, only precision. Within moments, the bandits retreated, defeated not by brute force, but by the steadfastness of those who would not waver. For the peasants, it was like seeing an ancestral spirit protecting them. But for the last Ronin, it was just another night. He knew he could not stay. The road still called to him, and his journey was not for a village, but against something much greater, the emptiness within himself. The weight of survival. As he continued his journey, the last Ronin reflected on what remained of a warrior without a cause. The sword, which once served a master, now served only the instinct to stay alive. But surviving, he knew, was not the same as living. His soul carried the loneliness of the battlefield and the memory of fallen comrades. With every step, he felt the echo of the question that haunted him. What use is the blade when there is no flag to defend? The Duel of Shadows. On a certain deserted road, the last Ronin crossed paths with another like himself, a man without a master, but who had chosen the path of easy violence, robbing travelers. The encounter was inevitable. The two looked at each other and silently understood that only one would go forward. The duel was short, but not without its weight. When the dust settled, only the last Ronin remained standing. There was no pride in his victory, only confirmation that, on the path of the masterless, the sword was both protection and curse. The Song of the Cherry Blossoms. As the years passed, the legend of the last Ronin began to spread, not because of any glorious deeds, but because of his strange presence. Villagers said he appeared like the wind, protected the weak, and departed without asking for anything in return. Others said he was merely a wandering soul, already dead, wandering restlessly. But all agreed on one thing. Where the cherry trees bloomed, it was possible his shadow had passed, as if the petals on the wind carried his silent story. The end without a tomb. No one knows how the last Ronin's life ended. Some say he fell in battle against dozens of enemies, others that he simply vanished into the mist. Perhaps he died as he lived, in silence, without witnesses, without a name engraved in stone. What remains is the legend of a man who, even without a master, kept the essence of honor alive. For in the end, it is not the title, nor the banner, nor the clan that defines a warrior. It is the choice to remain true to oneself, even when the whole world calls him a shadow. The legacy of the last. Thus ends the story of the last Ronin, a man who lost everything but did not lose himself, a warrior who did not seek glory, but became eternal through the memory of his journey. For true strength lies not only in the sword, but in the courage to keep walking, even when all paths seem to have reached their end. If you want to see the next epic story, subscribe and hit the bell.